What's up, everybody? Well, the cam is in, springs are in. Truck runs like shit right now due to the lack of tune. We're gonna get that resolved this week. Needs a bit of tuning. But I went down a typical rabbit hole where you just kind of just want to do this and then it steamrolls. Went ahead and replaced the water pump while I was in there doing that, while you're in there type stuff. The water pump I got ended up being like a half an inch. The snout on for the fan ended up being about a half an inch longer, protruded out half an inch longer, which got in the way of this thing. I've never had to pull it out before. When I did pull it out to do this cam swap, it was a freaking nightmare. Hated it, hated everything about it. Was tired of hearing the whirling fan noises, but I love the reliability of the crankshaft mounted fan. So, with doing this, the fan now hit this monstrosity. It hit all of that. It was, it sucked. So I went down this rabbit hole and I started looking at aftermarket fans. Shitty Flexolite fans, crappy aftermarket ones that I have zero faith in. $700, $600, $800, and they're very generic. So I did what I do best, and I went to the Jalopy Jungle, and I sourced these fans off of a Volvo. I think it was a S90 or I don't know, some like 2010 Volvo. They got a really badass dual fan setup. It actually, with a little bit of modification, it fit. I had to shorten it up, the bottom of it, hard to tell. I had to shorten up the bottom of it about half an inch. It's got this awesome, massive relay, pulse width modulation control. There's 3 wires going to this fan: power, ground, and the pulse width wire, just a trigger wire. I was like, all right, well, that's pretty cool. How am I going to control it? Volvo ECU controlled it before. I don't know if HP tuners, if you can get into the factory GM one and do anything with it, but I am going to be going to the Max ECU here pretty soon to control the engine and the new to me 8 HP transmission. I'm collecting parts on that now. So for the time being, I needed a fan. So literally I went to the junkyard. This is the factory ground wire from Volvo. This connects in the driver's side fender well area, and the power wire here. I was able to cut back in the harness to the point where I didn't have to extend wires or anything. It all laid out. I connected, it's cleated at the bottom, the fan is, the way I notched it and shortened it. And then just run a couple factory just a couple custom tabs to the factory radiator mounts. Sorry, Lee, I will get this back on. Trust me, I had that thing on here during the cam swap. It saved my ass. I don't know how many times I was leaning on that damn thing and almost broke my radiator. So, but with doing this fan deal, I had to make some modifications. It is going back on. But thank you again, Lee. You saved me a radiator. And then, so to control it, I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube videos and Amazon and pulse width controllers. So I found this guy. And this is just here temporary. Once I get the Max ECU system, I'll be able to program it from there through the ECU. So I didn't want to try to mount this anywhere special. Plus, it's pretty freaking ugly. I'm not a huge fan of it. The green crap wasn't on there. It wouldn't be so bad because it's gray and black, kind of matches the interior. But this thing was $10 on Amazon, and I got it in like 25 minutes or something like that. Switch power, ground, and then your pulse width wire goes to the negative. You have 2 outputs, a positive and negative pulse width. I set it to 123 hertz, which is what the Volvo talks between 120 and 125. I put it right in the middle. And then from here, I can come in here. I can set it to on. So I don't know if you can hear it. Fans just kicked on. I don't have to remember to turn it on and off. If I shut the key off, let's get this. it shuts off. If I turn the key back on, it kicks back on. Automatically. Fans are back on. The other cool deal is I have this to accessory. So when I go to start the truck, it actually shuts off. Which will, when I'm first firing it up, the fans won't run. It'll take the power off the fans. The fans, factory wires, are an 8 gauge. Power and ground, so they're beefy. They pull some power. But what I love about this being pulse width is I don't have that surge coming on. Put an amp gauge on them, man, they slowly roll up. So you're not getting that hard hit that's hard on alternators and everything. But if you find yourself needing to go to electric fans, $40 for the fans at Jalopy Jungle, $10 for the pulse width modulator frequency controller. So literally $50 is what I have into this, and I ran one single wire into the cab, and then I think for the power on that little guy, I just came off the cigarette lighter circuit. So switched, easy, but turned out pretty cool, and man, does it put out some serious wind. They're all fired up again. We'll take it up. So duty cycle is anywhere from, I think it's like 5 to 95. So if I take it up here to 95, that should be the limit. If I go past it, it'll actually shut off. See, just shut back off. So outside of its duty cycle. So I'll go back here to 95. Come back on. There it goes. Coming back on. So what's cool is I can play around with it. If I'm just cruising down the freeway, I can turn the duty cycle down to like 50%. If I'm on the trail, AC running, trucks get heat soaked. See how well this works. See if we can see anything here. You can see how hard it literally pulls. So that's the little fan. We've got a big one on the other side. But, what's cool about the Max ECU is I will be able to set it up when AC's on, it goes to 95% duty cycle. I'll be able to shut it off for water crossing. So even this little controller right here, if I want to, it's got inside of it, not on this connector, inside of it's got a little 2-pin piece that you can hook onto, and you can control the output. So you can put it on a temperature controlled, like a coolant temp switch that turns on to say 180 degrees. Your fans won't kick on until you hit 180 degrees. I would probably set it up 160 or something just to get ahead of it, but pretty trick little piece here. But yeah, that was a little bit long-winded. But yeah, if you guys are playing around with stuff, don't be scared of finding some cool parts at the yard. See you guys.